So you do know that there's universal health care at Native American reservations, right?
Yeah, but it's not very good because they don't have access to...
Because it's socialistic.
No.
Yes, it is very socialistic.
I'm a UVM student. I was talking to you before. I'm sure you noticed that. But I'm going to try to keep this civil.
Heckling, yes.
Yeah. But I'm just going to hope you respond in a way that's not so just conservative talking point and more of a conversation way. Hopefully. Maybe?
Sure.
Okay. So before there was a question about like Native American communities and treaties and stuff like that. And you were talking about how historically Native Americans have been kind of like screwed over by the U.S.
Before we get too deep, I want to introduce myself. My name is JOJO. I am an electronics engineering graduate student. Right now, I already have my undergraduate degree. So today we're going to check out another college student who is obviously or apparently on the socialist side, debating a conservative named Charlie Kirk. I don't know what they're going to debate about. However, it's evident that she is not a conservative college student. So this should be interesting. I always love hearing different perspectives on different topics. So it's not my field of study, but I always enjoy doing the videos. Without further ado, let's get right into it.
Government and stuff like that. Don't you think that history will impact how Native Americans live today and make it more difficult to succeed in America? Don't you think that would influence that?
Well, I suppose a question I'll ask back at you, we've made tremendous accommodations, such as sovereignty of Native American land, entire department of the federal government dedicated just solely to that. Do you recognize that there's been great efforts to try to accommodate that?
I recognize those efforts, but obviously they haven't worked.
So why haven't they worked?
Because it's either not enough or the way that we're doing it is like we need to treat it more as an equity thing instead of just saying, oh, it's a culture, like instead of blaming it on people's like individual working and like change it societally and help them in a way that actually matters.
So you do know that there's universal health care at Native American reservations, right?
Yeah, but it's not very good because they don't have access to...
Because it's socialistic.
No.
Yes, it is very socialistic. And the problem that I have with this logic is that students like this, and this is no offense to her or her ideals, I'm going to just give some insight. Students like this like to take the good things of society from conservatives or from the way we operate as America and steal those things, but then try to explode or expel the really bad things. And what I mean by that is you love the money that America makes. You love the health care that America can provide. You love the resources that America has. You love that, and you want other communities to have that. However, you don't want them to do what it takes to make that money or provide those resources. And that's a problem of your logic. That's the biggest problem. Like, you love the way America operates and you wish other communities had that. But do you not realize these resources cost money? You brought up the terrible healthcare or the terrible systems and, for example, the Native American reservations, and you wish that these systems were better. It will cost money to make these systems better. How do you make money? You have to work for money. That's the problem. You want them to just get it. You want people to just get things. And that's what you don't understand. Everything has a price. Everything. Every piece of work is done by somebody. Every brick is picked up by a hand. That's put on everything. Nothing is for free. But let's continue.
They have universal health care in plenty of European countries, and it works just fine. The flaws of the Native American...
So I'm curious, how did Vermont's experiment in universal health care go?
I'm not from Vermont, so I don't know these things.
I didn't hear your response. Say that again.
I'm not from Vermont, so I don't know these things. I moved here like 2 months ago.
Yeah, I still can't hear what you said. Say it one more time. You're wearing a mask. It's kind of hard. Can you say it again?
I moved here like 2 months ago. I'm not from Vermont, so I don't know these things.
Right. So Vermont tried single payer. They had to abolish it. It was a total disaster. So look, I think the best way to help Native American communities is to help all people through empowerment and education. Instead, we tried a heavy-handed government approach of intervention of the Bureau of Native American Affairs, of universal health care. And if you want to go see a socialist dystopia, go to a Native American reservation. Maybe you have. Maybe you worked on Native American reservations before. I've been to plenty. They're depressing. They're government addicted, unfortunately, in more ways than one. They're very, very corrupt. And this is something I want to ask you. Would you self-identify as a socialist? Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay. Ish.
I'm not a liberal. I'm more social. I'm
Okay.
Socialist
Yeah.
and liberal are different words, and I think conservatives confuse that a lot. They're completely different things. Okay. Okay.
No, we don't. So I'm just curious, as someone who would say you're a socialist, what would be a country you think works well that's a socialist country?
There are no socialist countries right now.
There are no has there ever been a socialist country?
Truly socialist? No.
Okay. So your worldview is on something that's never existed and currently doesn't exist?
Is it too?
Yes, that's what it is. And I don't want to pick on her because at the end of the day, that's not going to really solve anything. But I feel like I have to talk about this because these ideals make no sense, and we keep letting people believe them as if it does. They make no sense. They don't work in real life. They want universal health care in the richest nation on earth. Okay, let's do that. You say a lot of European countries have universal health care. How fast is their health care? How many people live in their countries? How big are their institutions? Can they do it on the same scale that America has? Can they do it? We want all these like perfect things, and I'm not saying it's not possible. I didn't say that. It could very well be possible. But when you just live in idealistic environments and then you blame conservatives that we don't have it, you're not asking yourself the real questions. How much would it cost to have universal health care that is good in America? How much? How much? Somebody let me know. And I'm not saying this to bully her, but we have to ask real questions. But the socialist ideals I noticed from college students, they never ask real questions because it's convenient to ignore the reality. It's very convenient to ignore the dollar amount. And it's just not beneficial for anyone, not yourself, not people that you're trying to support, not the conservative party, not the liberal party. It helps no one.
Is it a bad thing to be like pro-change?
Okay, so just so we're clear, yeah, the type of change you're advocating is horrifying. But so it's never existed, doesn't, and so I would say Venezuela, Cuba, North Korea, formerly Vietnam, the Soviet Union, those are not and were not socialist countries?
The disastrous effects in those countries were directly contributed by U.S. intervention. There were multiple coups done by the CIA in those countries.
So let's take, hold on, guys, hold on. I'm just curious. And so how on earth did Fidel Castro taking over Cuba have anything to do with U.S. intervention?
There was plenty of like sanctions. Like economically, Cuba was completely cut off. They tried to assassinate him plenty of times. There were so many things.
The fact that they're communist.
Yeah.
We had what to do with that?
We didn't have anything to do with that. But after a communist regime took over, they had
Yeah. So let me ask you another. So first of all, Zimbabwe was not communist.
Burkina Faso, Thomas Sankara.
Say that again.
Thomas Sankara, Burkina Faso. Before he was assassinated, he was actually.
How about Mugabe? He wasn't a communist. How about Joseph Stalin? He wasn't a communist.
He called himself.
How about Mao Zedong? He wasn't a communist.
Yeah.
Pol Pot.
Plenty of terrible people have called themselves plenty of different names. North Korea,
so you get to be the judge. Got it.
Dem-
Right. So I just want to make sure we complete the point. You believe in something that doesn't exist, has never existed, and even though the people that call themselves the things that you believe, you say they weren't really that, which is the most important point. Socialism is always judged against an impossible utopia, and they judge markets against a reality. And here's the truth of the matter. That markets, which you enjoy comfortably in Western society, is the most proven affluent creating machine in human history. And I would just challenge you to do one thing. Please stop believing in a utopian nightmare and start looking at things around you that are good, that are true, that are beautiful, that work, and are consistent with the natural law.
Yep, that's perfect advice. He's right. And I would pose a question. I would pose a challenge. If you are a socialist or you do have very, very liberal, progressive ideals that you want to see happen in the country. Don't just come with your ideal. Have a plan for how we can do it. Not only will people take you more serious, people will respect it more. If you were to walk on this stage and say, we should have universal health care, here is a document on how we can do it today. We might disagree, or someone might disagree, but a lot of people will agree with you. A lot of people will respect you. But when you just say this idea, you have no idea how they're going to do it, you don't know any numbers behind it, you sound like a brainwashed college student. That's what you sound like. You need to have some data with it. You need to have something factual that you can stand on, a foundation that supports your claim. That's just my advice on this. But if you guys have anything you want to say, let me know in the comments below. That's Ella for JoJo, and I'll see you on the next one.